Tune in next time, kids, and find out if the Northern Night will be able to stop the destruction of the Moose Jaw Maple Syrup Company. You can count on me, Canada! Or will the dastardly, diabolical Early Frost get away with blowing up the building and stealing millions of gallons of the liquid gold?
Oh, drat you, Northern Night. I love maple syrup.
These answers and more next time on Canadian Confidential. Hey kids, it's your old friend the Northern Night here to remind you to send in your 5 box tops of Beaver Bite cereal and receive your Northern Night secret decoder hockey puck. And now, Mr. and Mrs. Canada, it's time for your favorite show, It's a Canadian Thing, with your hosts Gabby Jones and Oliver Sutton. Oh, I don't know where Oliver is.
Hold it, I'm on the way. Don't start the show without me. Ha ha, I made it. Hello, Canada. It's me, Oliver Sutton, star of the show. Did you miss me? I'm sure you did.
Oliver, where have you been? We're on the air.
Well, I was just getting my toy train all polished up.
Toy train? But why?
Well, I was having my makeup done in my dressing room when it hit me. John A. Macdonald was the train conductor for putting the country together and starting the railroad across the country. So I thought I would bring out my toy train.
I can't believe it.
I know, brilliant, aren't I?
No, I can't believe you were getting your makeup done. We're on the radio. Nobody's going to see you. Hey, you two hip beavers, like, man, skiddly bop bop bo. Let's get going with this slow show.
Oh, great. Yeehaw is the director this week. I knew I should have called in sick.
And I think he went to the jazz club last night. I can't understand a word he's saying.
It was a dark and stormy night. The rain thrashed against the frail library windows. January 10th, or maybe it was the 11th, 1815 in Glasgow, Scotland.
A little dramatic, isn't it, Oliver?
Yes, what do you think? I wrote that myself.
Today's show is about John Alexander Macdonald, or Sir John A. as we know him, our very first Prime Minister. He and his family were very poor.
They were poor. The family could barely eat, and they lived in a shoebox.
Cut. Shoebox? Like, man, they didn't live in no shoebox, Oliver. You gotta follow the script, Slick.
Okay. John A. Macdonald and his family emigrated to Kingston in Upper Canada in 1820. He was only 5 years old. At the age of 15, he began to work with a prominent lawyer in Kingston, and at the age of 19, he had opened his own law office. 19. What were you doing when you were 19 years old, Gabby? Building the Great Pyramids?
Well, you young whippersnapper, I oughta clobber you. Okay, like you two should just chill, man, like cool it.
What was that? I tell you, this place is haunted.
Come on, Oliver, man, it's just the old pipes in this radio station. Like, cool it, man, stick to the script, Slick.
Okay. While John A. was a lawyer, he became very interested in local politics. In 1843, he won his first election and became an alderman in Kingston. And that's when things started to happen. He was asked to be the Conservative candidate for Kingston in the upcoming legislative election. He won the election by 275 shouts to 42. Shouts. What the heck is a shout?
Excuse me, Mr. Sutton? Excuse me.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Chipper, the sound man. You see, Mr. Sutton, Back in the 1840s, they didn't have a secret ballot for elections. All of those that wanted to vote would gather and shout out for who they wanted to vote for.
Okay, that is very interesting, Chomper. So here's a little shout out for you. Sit down and be quiet. Thank you. After the election, John A. really started to become a shining star in politics. He was made a Queen's Counsel, and later the Receiver General. General? Oh, cool. Now this story is starting to have a little bit of bite to it. So when he became general, did he get a chance to blow a lot of things up? Now that's my kind of story. And is this when he became the Prime Minister of Canada?
Well, not really, Mr. Sutton.
Who is that? Is that you again, Chiller?
My name is Chipper, actually. You see, Mr. Sutton, because there was a lot of unrest in our land, the British Parliament combined Upper and Lower Canada into the Province of Canada in 1841. Kingston became the capital of the new province. Upper Canada and Lower Canada became known as Canada West and Canada East.
I knew that. And that is when John A. became very active. In 1854, he helped create the Conservative Party of the Province of Canada. This is when he became very, very good friends with George Etienne Cartier. And after that, John Macdonald and his friend George Etienne Cartier would conquer the North Pole.
Oh boy.
Oliver, come on, zing zang zingy. You gotta follow the script thingy. Like George Cartier and John A. Macdonald worked hard to pull all of Canada together. They became like the joint premiers, like a tag team in wrestling, man. The two of them worked hard to pull the country together. It's like called confederation.
Constellation, that's right. They pulled together and created the Constellation.
That's Confederation. That is the union of the province of Canada, which is Ontario, Quebec, with the colonies of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Canada was officially born on July 1st, 1867.
July 1st, 1867. How old were you back then, Gabby? You must have been around for that. I was, actually. I interviewed Sir John A. Macdonald.
You did? Like far out, man.
That must have been interesting, Mr. Jones.
It sure was. I was a young beaver cub reporter for the Northern Nugget. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm standing in front of the new Canadian Parliament buildings in Ottawa, Ontario, with the new Prime Minister of Canada, Sir John A. Macdonald. Mr. Prime Minister, congratulations on being the new Prime Minister of this great country. What do you plan on doing with the new country? Do you know what would be a good idea? How about a train that would go from one end of the country to the other? Oh, now, that's a great idea. And what do you think about Prince Edward Island, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and British Columbia joining Canada? Wow, I think that would be a great idea. Well, that's all the time we have for this interview. Congratulations on being the new Prime Minister of this great old country. What do you think about these pants? I just bought them. I just got them half price down at Hudson Bay Company. They're kind of stretchy, and I like the color. Just like always, Gabby, not letting anybody get a word in edgewise. And I see you're still wearing the same pants.
Bless you.
Bless you. That wasn't me. That wasn't you? Oh no, not that crazy ghost again. Nice work, Odd. You scared old Oliver Sutton right out of his pants. What's that? You're looking for your toy train? Sir John A. gave you a toy train engine? Did you hear that, gang? John A. gave Odd that toy train after he built the railway connecting Eastern Canada to Western Canada in 1885. He calls the train Rupert!
Rupert's Land was the name given to a huge portion of land granted in 1670 by the British King Charles II to the Hudson Bay Company, and named after the king's cousin. By the 1850s, Canadians wanted control over this land, and the company agreed in 1869, and control was transferred in 1870. Have you ever heard of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, the Northwest Territories? Well, much of that land was called Prince Rupert Land. Later, these areas, including Prince Edward Island, British Columbia, and the Yukon, would all join Canada.
Odd! Quick and hide! Here comes Oliver! I think he might have something of yours! Honestly, I'm going to speak to my agent. Why do I have to be interrupted by that silly old ghost every time we're on the air?
This John A. Cat is like out of sight. He like to help bring the country together, become like the first prime minister, built the CPR railroad, purchased the land that brought the rest of the country together. Wow, this is truly a wild, wild cat.
Did you know, Mr. Yeehaw, that every January 11th is Sir John A. Day in Canada? We celebrate this amazing day throughout the country, honoring an amazing family man, a brilliant politician, and the man who had the amazing vision of our great country.
Well said, Chipper! What a great way to end the show! Wait a minute, Sir John A. Day? Hey, I've got a great idea. We should have an Oliver Sutton Day. We could build a statue of me with my train.